Hello and welcome back to Tony Northeastern. In the last video we tackled the doors, and now we're going to tackle the windows. And trying to get the size of these windows has been a little bit of a headache to work out. So what I've done is I have measured one of the doors we made earlier, which stands at about 48 mil to the top of the frame. So what I've done is I've zoomed the photograph in so it matches 48 mil, but I've got to zoom it out a little bit because it's not quite there yet. So it's zoom back a little bit, so it's around about 48 mil. That's 50, just a tiny touch more. Right, so that is now 48 millimeters for the door. So then we measure across for the window from the bottom of the plinth to the top is roughly about 34 millimeters. So now we have the size for the windows. 44 millimeters by 14.5 across. So now that we've got the size of our windows, we can start making them. So here's our sizes. We still have to work out for these slightly smaller ones, which are on the front of the station, which are these ones on the left here. So I've still got to work that out. So I'm going to have to make up a jig. Okay, here is the little jig I've made. It's a bit crude. I've just used coffee stirring sticks. I've just spaced them according to the gaps I need. So that's 14.5, and that's almost 8 millimeters, so 7.5. Still got to work out the heights for the narrow windows, which are on the front of the station, and a few other places on the station. And we'll wait for this to dry, and then we'll come back to it. Right, I thought I'd give my jig a try, and I am not succeeding. As you can see, the narrow windows are cracking at the top. Now, so far that's only happened because of the plastic weld. I put the plastic weld onto these cross members here, and the next thing I know that these go ping and break inside the jig. So on the next window I decided not to use the plastic weld and decided to use the contact cement, and would you believe it, it's held together. And I've only just done this. I've just got to let this dry and go off before I do any more work to it. As for these, I'm going to try again, but I'm not going to use the plastic weld. I'm just going to use the ordinary poly cement and see what happens. So what I'm doing with the 1mm strip, I'm just actually heating it up with my fingers so that it bends easily in the jig, because it's quite a tight bend on those narrow windows. As you can see, it's only 7.5 mil across, and the pieces that go in the middle are only 5.5. So we'll put a couple of pieces in the middle and then we'll see what happens. Right, I've cut my pieces and I'm just about to put them into the frame itself. That's one. Okay, with the two pieces glued in, I'm just going to gently move it forward so I can flush the bottom members and cut them off. So I'm just about to add the windowsill. And then this will be the only bit I will use the plastic weld on. And that should keep that window nice and level now. Right, so the windowsill is 1.5 square polystyrene strip. So I'm just going to leave it in there just a little bit longer because I know the minute I take that out it's just going to go ping like these have. So we'll leave that in a few minutes and then we'll take it out. Right, so while we're waiting for that one to go off, we'll just try and make another big one. So what I've done, just manipulate where the bends are going to go, so it's softened it up a little bit, and put that into the jig. This jig is a lot better than the old one. Right, so got our cross member cut ready. Right, so now we've got a cross member in, so that should hold those two down in the jig now. Just straighten them up so they're in line with the blue line. Got another one for the top piece. Right, so here goes the other cross member. One from the top. Right, that's the big window done. It's almost a pair. So it's been a while now, so we can try and take the small one out. Should be fairly loose. Well, don't believe it didn't break. So I got 7 more of them to make. Right, I shall now move this window forward. It hasn't been in there long. So now we just flush the bottom. And then at the windowsill. A little bit of plastic well for this. Let that one go off a bit. It's still a bit soft. There you go. It's another window done. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of a production line going here now. This one's been in for about 20 minutes, so it should push out quite easy. And also I have been putting the evergreen strip around the edges as well, just like the doors. 0.25 thick by 2 mil thick. Yeah, 0.25 by 2.5 to go around the edges, and then that just finishes it off. And then also if you flip it over on the back side, I can just fit the glass in there just like with the doors, and it'll fit flush. Also, I've been cleaning the jigs out after each time. This one's not so bad. So what I do is I clean it out and then just put a little tiny bit of oil in there. It helps stop the glue sticking to the wood, and it helps them release once they're dried. I think this one's almost ready to come out. What I'll do is just run the blade down each side. Just make sure it's free that way, and make sure it's free underneath on the bottom one. As you can see, I've already put the 1.5 mil square on the base. There it goes, there's another one done. So all I've got to do is just clean them up, scrape them clean, and we can start painting them. So as you can see, I'm just about to apply the strip around the whole window. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little bit of plastic weld just to make sure that that sticks in there properly. Just to get a hold of it, and then as I go around the bend of the window, just using the polystyrene cement and just push it around the window, and then as it comes back on the flat, use a little tiny bit more. Just hold it there for a little bit. And just for quickness, just use a tiny bit of plastic weld just to get a grip of it. Right, the last 5 or 6 windows I've been taking them out like this with a plastic card strip straight up the centre, just gently easing it and popping it out of the jig, hopefully without it breaking, just like that, because some of them have been coming apart, either at the frame there or at the frame up there, and I've had to re-glue them and hold them in place with a bit of blue tack while they went off. So that one is number 20. So with the plastic card, what I've done is I've put a little bevel on the edge there, just to slide it up to push them out. Okay, that's all the windows made now. As you can see, I have put the 0.25 by 2.5 wide strip around the edges of the windows to make them look the same as the doors in the last video. Now as you can see on one side, I don't know if you can see this, on one side we have a ledge and on the other side it's flush. Now this is the side that's going to have the window glazing glued to, so this side don't really matter too much. I mean, I've still got bits of glue to remove, which I will do with the Stanley blade, but on this side, what I want to do this side is to get a craft knife and just do a few scrapes on the sharp edge of the polystyrene strip inside the cross there, just to round it over a little bit. Don't need much, just a few scrapes just to take the edge off, and that makes the window appear round when it's painted, the actual frame itself. It seems a bit of a fiddle to do, but if you used bar you would have a round edge on the back, and you don't particularly want a round edge on the back, not for fixing glazing too. So by doing this, just adds detail, I think, to these windows. And don't forget the little cross members that way. So basically you're just taking that edge off, and at the same time you might as well remove any bits of glue that's left on there before we paint them. These have been one fiddly job. But then again, it will pay dividend when it's all done. Painting the last window of the batch, and it's taken me over what, an hour and a half to paint all 27 windows. Might seem like a long and laborious job, but I find it quite therapeutic. Right, once this is done, it's just time to glaze them. All I'm doing now is any paint that's on the back, I'm just going to blend it in with the back rail and try not to get any on the recess where the glass is going to go. Right. That's it. Last one. Last window for fitting out for the glazing. They're not glued yet. What I did is I followed the same example I used for doing the doors. Is I made a template for the glass to go inside the window, and I used this template to do all the glazing. So basically what I've done is I've just placed it on my sheet or strip of glazing, which I used from the old perfume packaging box, and just mark a rough estimation of where to put the cuts and then cut it out to suit. And once this is done, I can glue all these in, and that'll be another tick in the box regarding building of this station, because then I've only got a few more things left to do. That's nearly there, just got to trim a little bit more for the side and a bit more around the top. Now some of the arches do vary on the windows, so what I'll do is when I come to put them into the building, I will pair them up so that when you look at it, the same arch looks the same either side, because most of these windows will be going in together as pairs. There's a little bit of a lip on the bottom there, so I'm going to have to push that back a little bit and just snip off the access by about a millimetre and then push it up just to make sure that there's no glass on that edge, especially when we come to fit them into the station. Right, so at last we're down to our last gluing in of the windows. Same as the doors, a little bit of U glue and a toothpick just to put it into the recess that we made. And by doing this, it keeps the clear sheet cemented into the window frame. It kind of makes a nice neat job of it. One thing to look for before you put the glass in, just have a quick look, make sure you haven't got no like spider webs going across the actual framework, and then we just place it in because it's already been pre-cut. There we go. Just press it home with a cotton bud. Easy peasy. When I'm cleaning windows to earn an honest bob. When I'm cleaning windows, it's an interesting job. Now it's a job that just suits me. A window cleaner I could be if you could see what I could see when I'm cleaning windows. Okay, Bert, that's enough singing, mate. What are you doing? I'm cleaning these windows, mate. Shouldn't you wait until the station's built? Nah, I've got to do my job, haven't I? I've got to do my job. Alright, Bert. Glad I caught up with you. I think I owe you a pint for cleaning all those windows. Yeah, I just got to finish this last paint and I'll be straight with you. Alright, I'll see you in the bar then. Yeah, I could do with a drink as well, building all those windows. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Bye.